Clothing brands is honestly something that everyone aspires to make, from brands such as Essentials all the way to Trapstar. These iconic brands basically came out of nowhere overnight. But what if I told you you could actually do it too? I'm going to show you guys how to make over $100,000 in 90 days with a clothing brand, step by step, and I'm not holding anything back. Most people actually like to gatekeep information, but honestly, I'm just trying to help the community. Watch the video to the very end because this is one of the most informational videos that you will find on YouTube about marketing a clothing brand. Let's go. Before we continue, I do want to go over my brand new Discord server that I just made. It is a community of like-minded people where you actually can connect with other clothing brand owners. It has a bunch of different free mock-ups. Nothing is gatekept. Everything is 100% free. There's also assets inside of here that you can go ahead and download and so many other cool things. It's completely free to go ahead and join, so what are you waiting for? Hey guys, it's Shiftery here. Welcome back to yet again another video, and today I'm going to be going over how you can market your clothing brand all the way up to $100,000 in revenue. I do want to go ahead and state there's a big difference between revenue and profit. There's a lot of people that will be flexing these high Shopify numbers, but there's a big difference when their profit margin is around 20%. 20% of 100,000 is only 20,000. But if you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing with post notifications on, like the video. We're trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'm not trying to gatekeep information. I've seen many videos out there and there's just so many people trying to sell this information, and honestly that's just wrong, because honestly I want to see everyone succeed and I don't want to gatekeep information. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. And I do want to mention this is actually the second part in this series, so you may want to go back and watch that previous video on how to actually get started. But now we need to talk about scale and how can you actually market it all the way up to $100,000 in revenue. So the first method I do want to go over, and this is probably one of the most important. I have done this with so many of my other businesses, not just clothing. This works for anything that you want to go ahead and do. And I have a big plan for this channel to run influencer ads on my new platform that I'm releasing that is going to be super helpful for everyone. And honestly, the ads are super cheap. And this brings me to the first benefit of influencer ads. It's actually super cheap. So what you can go ahead and do, which is actually pretty cool, since influencers are actually posting a link to your site, you want to go ahead and head over to bit.ly. So basically what this allows you to go ahead and do is actually track the influencer's performance. This is very important, and you're going to want to go ahead and keep track of KPIs. KPI means key performance indicator. This is actually basically a fancy term of how many views did they get, how many clicks actually went over to the link, and how many people actually converted into a paying customer. This is actually very important, or else you're going to wonder if actually the influencer is doing their job, or maybe it's just your past marketing efforts. So this is actually very, very important, but make sure to go to make shortened links. The next benefit of influencer ads is if you pay for a dedicated video or some type of dedicated post, that post is going to be up there forever. So when people actually go ahead and click on the influencer's profile, they'll go ahead and see your brand, basically creating brand awareness. Also, as they grow, your brand kind of grows because some people even scroll back to the older posts. This is actually something that people don't think about. I was able to go ahead and buy a $50 post from a YouTuber, and it actually had 10,000 views the first month, but I came back 5 months later and it had 200,000 views. It was actually a really good investment, and I kept buying from this YouTuber, but unfortunately he started making his own brand and he got a little bit too smart. So very important to go ahead and get these YouTubers before they actually blow up and become business savvy. So let's say I wanted to buy an ad from this influencer right here. This is actually my good friend Jalen Harris, and he actually makes clothing videos all the time, which is actually pretty cool. So that basically means that his followers are interested in clothing, but it's very important to know that what type of influencer you're looking for. Although he's actually into general clothing, it looks like he's really into streetwear. So if I had an anime clothing brand, then this wouldn't work. So I would want to go ahead and find an anime influencer that will actually be able to go ahead and accommodate my needs. So I came across this guy called Joey the Anime Man. He makes a lot of anime content, so I'm just going off the preference. If I was to go ahead and make an anime inspired brand, I would go ahead and sponsor some posts from him and also even probably run a story promotion. But where this influencer is biggest at, you want to go ahead and target. So this influencer isn't the biggest on IG, even though they have 300,000 followers. They're most likely to go ahead and convert on a YouTube video. This is what I noticed, that Instagram posts don't always convert the best. Personally, I prefer YouTube because YouTubers actually convert people into sales. IG followers actually are pretty big, but a lot of people can bot them. This actually goes to show, if you go ahead and take a look at Smoke Perp's post, he basically botted all of his followers here, which is absolutely insane. Well, not exactly all of them, but now he's selling story posts for $300. So this could definitely tell you something, the state of Smoke Perp, when there's only 10 people showing up to his shows. But anyways, that's besides the point. It's very important to find the right influencer that's going to work with you, and then you need to work on your outreach method, which is basically sending them a DM. Sometimes it can be pretty difficult. Me personally, I like reaching out on DM or some type of personal mean to go ahead and get to know them a little bit better, and then I can go ahead and work with them later on. Most of them are very easy to go ahead and contact, but I would recommend going ahead and reaching out a few times. Might need to go ahead and set up a few email campaigns just to be able to go ahead and work with them. Influencers don't typically turn down money as long as the offer is good, so definitely keep that in mind. The next thing I do want to go over is pricing for influencers, and it's very important to go ahead and get this right. So I believe Jalen was actually charging $200 lifetime for a Linktree post, which honestly is a really good idea, and I might have to go ahead and buy it from him because that would be actually lifetime promotion, and as he grows, I grow, which is actually pretty cool. But honestly, in my personal opinion, he doesn't fit the demographic. But to figure out the pricing for an influencer, you typically want to lowball them at first, and you want to offer them money, and then you also want to send them the piece of clothing as well. If someone actually sent me around like $200 or whatever, it doesn't matter, I'll probably take it because it's better than nothing. Remember, YouTube doesn't really pay that well, and especially Instagram too, so keep that in mind when working with these influencers. You want to be courteous of that they are actually probably going to be taking any type of deal, so you can definitely lowball them a lot of times. I didn't want to actually say that. I'm thinking back to a personal experience when honestly I was lowballed. I remember on one of my channels, I took a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship for $300 and Skillshare as well for $300. I can definitely say I got scammed, and that agency made $1,500 off my name. But anyways, that's pretty much besides the point. You want to make sure that you get your pricing right for influencers. And lowballing is fine, but you definitely want to come to an agreement if you really like their stuff. Once you paid the influencer and they post up your post, make sure to go ahead and keep track of the stats from Bitly, and you can definitely go ahead and see how good the promotion is doing and decide to work with the influencer farther. So the next thing I do want to go over is TikTok. So TikTok is definitely a good way to go ahead and promote. You want to post 3 times a day. That's how you get into the algorithm, and this is called TikTok Organic. Sometimes you can actually run TikTok ads for your brand, but this is only when it's a proven product. At first, I would actually run TikTok Organic videos just to go ahead and make sure that your brand is healthy and people actually want to go ahead and buy it. So this definitely works. In front of me, I do have a video of some girl promoting essentials, but what if I actually paid her to go ahead and promote my brand as well? She definitely looks like she fits the part if I were to go ahead and have a brand, which is actually pretty cool. So an influencer that I would definitely buy an ad from, he may be a little bit expensive, but he definitely fits the niche. He looks really, really cool. He has a Hellcat I could see here, and this is definitely something that I would be interested in, buying ads from this guy. I'm not too sure on how much he would definitely charge, but he's definitely getting 100k plus views on each of his posts, which is definitely a plus here, so definitely keep that in mind. A lot of people have been hitting him up lately for promos, but he's definitely willing to go ahead and do it because YouTube doesn't pay that well, but I'm pretty sure the promos on his IG are. The next tip I do have for you guys to scale to 100k is actually being on social media. A lot of people are saying that they're on social media, but they're typically only on IG for their clothing brand. They forget about TikTok and they forget about YouTube and even Twitter and even Snapchat. Snapchat, Reddit. There's so many different social medias out there, but I highly recommend to go ahead and create social medias for your brand, especially even a Discord server. People overlook this, to go ahead and cultivate a bunch of members in there, and you can go ahead and show off your new releases. I seen this with one of my friends' brands, Nick. He actually had a brand out called Divide the Youth, and he actually has a Discord with over 30k members, which is honestly a pretty good method to go ahead and promote your actual brand, and a lot of people buy it instantly. The next one is giving out samples to your friends. So obviously these people are pretty close to you and they're willing to wear your brand because you gave them a free hoodie. It does cost money obviously, but this branding and marketing can be very efficient. This creates brand awareness, and if you have a really cool design, people are going to ask them where they got it from, and everything is going to come back to you. So I personally like doing this with a lot of brands that I own. I think a lot of people can go ahead and definitely do this for their own as well. You just have people walking around with your own brand, and a lot of people are interested if your design is cool enough. The last thing I do want to go over is you can invest in rappers. A lot of times rappers will do promos. I know I went over Smoke Perp already, but I highly recommend looking at some of the up and coming rappers, and a lot of people want to be just like these people, so you can use them for influencer marketing. It's very important that you have drippy clothing, especially when you're wanting to work with rappers, because then they can go ahead and wear it with all their other designer, and a lot of people will ask what is that, and they'll actually go ahead and check out your own brand. Let's say I wanted to go ahead and buy a promo from, let's say, Lil Durk. That would actually be really expensive obviously, but it would definitely be a good promo nonetheless. A lot of these influencers do very cheap influencer ads, so let's go ahead and check it out. Well, like I said before, this is no joke that Smoke Perp is actually selling promos for this low. So how much do you think other people are actually selling them for? These promos are so cheap that you can go ahead and buy them for brand awareness, and this can go ahead and add a lot of credibility to your brand. And that's pretty much it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and were able to go ahead and learn something. It definitely takes money to go ahead and make money, so you definitely want to go ahead and invest in samples to give out to people, and honestly just have fun with your brand, because this is a long-term brand. It's not something that's quick, that's going to blow up overnight, so keep that in mind. But I'll see you guys next time for the next video on Shiftery. Bye.